So I don't think that Kentucky Kingdom needs any introduction at this point. The great story of this amusement park's comeback from the deathly grip of 2006 Flags has been chronicled again and again on YouTube. Ed Hart revived it. He's Kentucky Kingdom's dad. Hershend, the Dollywood and Silver Dollar City people, recently bought the park. There's a road cutting through it, and it's a fairground in close proximity to an airport. It's crazy. It's got 6 roller coasters. It's Kentucky Kingdom in beautiful Louisville, Kentucky. Let's rank those coasters! Coming in at the bottom at number 6 is Roller Skater. Roller Skater is a junior coaster by Dutch manufacturer Vekoma. These particular Vekoma junior roller coasters get cloned and put into a lot of places. I don't mind the excessive cloning since these are decent junior roller coasters. The seats are bench style seats, so I don't feel crammed in these cars. Some of the banking on the dropping turns provide goofy laterals, kind of like a mine train coaster. In other words, it rides like a 90s Vekoma roller coaster. I love the roller skate cars. That's it. I just really like that you sit inside of a roller skate. Oh yeah, and this coaster setting is surprisingly pretty with the creek and all of those trees surrounding it. Lots of greenery. You forget that this coaster is plopped right down next to a road. Decent junior coaster. Yay, Roller Skater. Dropping in and banking left at number 5, we have Thunder Run. I wanted to walk up to Thunder Run and poke it with a stick and say, "Come on, Thunder Run, do something." We didn't catch it on what should have been a slow day for it. The heat was over 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Everything else in the park was going really fast. Oh my God! But what I can say is that Thunder Run is alright. It has been updated and retracked many times to its benefit. The word I would use to describe Thunder Run is finicky. Some days it's actually quite good. Others, it's more on the, so-so side. As a result, I am very torn on this roller coaster. In the past, I have considered it quite underrated, and a lot of people echo that sentiment. The first drop is decent, and the wide turn afterwards is a design choice that I support. The first 2 airtime hills can be really satisfying. I like that the first one has a short moment of lateral forces and also stays lower to the ground. Overall, the layout is pretty short, and this one is just too inconsistent for me to confidently praise it at the moment. Honestly, I think I'd be more interested in hearing what a Louisville local has to say about Thunder Run, as I am sure that they've experienced the highest of highs and the lowest of lows on this one. Flying in at number 4, Kentucky Flyer. Yeah, some people might think I'm nuts for putting this above Thunder Run, which is a bigger scale wooden roller coaster, but Kentucky Flyer is actually a pretty charming and fun ride. Kentucky Flyer is a junior wooden roller coaster by my current favorite manufacturer, Gravity Group. And if this is any indication, Gravity Group knows what they are doing with these. I cannot wait to experience Rorosaurus, or even better yet, Oscar's Wacky Taxi. This coaster is nothing amazing due to its small scale, but this is a nice coaster. The single row cars on the signature Timberliner trains are able to navigate tight turns, twists, and drops, allowing for a slightly thrilling experience at a top speed of only 35 miles per hour. That's impressive. Walking up into the queue line, you see these 3 signs: turbulence, elevation, velocity. It's a simple touch of theming surrounded by pretty nice landscaping. Oh yeah, this coaster is themed to airplanes. When the theme and the name for this coaster got out, a lot of people expected a flying coaster. A semi-popular theory floating around was that maybe there was a purchase of Firehawk from Kings Island, but Kentucky Flyer ended up being a little wooden roller coaster for kids with an airplane-themed train. And I loved that. Why is Kentucky Flyer themed the way that it is? The former president and CEO of Kentucky Kingdom, Ed Hart, has a nostalgic love for World War II planes.
Believe it or not, I drew a sketch of the logo in 2014.
I assumed that it was because of the park's close proximity to an airport. I don't know why I thought that. That was silly. The first drop really is decent in the back. so is the transition drop out of the turnaround. The best part of Kentucky Flyer is the quad down before returning to the station. Kentucky Flyer has elements that blow PTC's Junior Wooden roller coasters out of the conversation. This is a good coaster for all ages. Revisiting the Q signs mentioned earlier, turbulence certainly is a term that applies to some gravity groups out there. But not this one. The biggest impression this ride left on me was seeing very little kids running out of the exit together and right back into its entrance, laughing and having the time of their lives. Look at the little propeller on the front of the train. Good. Thank you. Even considering that I'm not the demographic for Kentucky Flyer, don't get me wrong, it's a junior roller coaster, it's still a fun time. I would be happy to see more of these. More of these, please. Suspended at the third power, we've got T3. T3 stands for top 3, baby! I can't believe I'm doing this. I appreciate T3 purely as a comedy coaster. It's fun. Kentucky Kingdom previously liked to promote this as their best roller coaster at the expense of its actually terrible reputation. Get it? They're in on the joke because Vekoma SLCs are bad. T3 is funny to me, but not in that same wink wink nudge nudge joking ironic way that Kentucky Kingdom likes to promote it. Although I feel like the park has also seen the same humor in it that I have. They know that this coaster is a freak. To understand T3, we must go back to its original inception as T2. I rode T2 during some of its worst days under Six Flags, and my goodness, it was hot trash. The old shoulder restraints were so chunky that they blocked my peripheral vision. It felt like I had gotten myself into a boxing match, receiving left hook after right hook from an opponent that I could not physically see. Did you know that this roller coaster was once planned to be named Batman the Ride? If you weren't already aware, this 1995 prototype model of the Vekoma SLC was not comparable to the masterpiece that was B&M's first invert of that same name. That's like if Busch Gardens tried to change Dragonfire's name to Kumba. The name T2, short for Terror to the Second Power, never held, let's say, meaning. Let's see what name T2 received upon Ed Hart's rescue of this park. Terror to the Third Power. You know, if it works, it works. Let's see what shiny new coat of paint it received. A return to the original, insanely red color scheme? You know, are you sure? That's really red. I remember seeing pictures of T3 and thinking, surely these are all saturation boosted images. No, they are not. T3 is impossibly red in real life. You know Vanta Black paint? It's this crazy black paint made from a material that absorbs over 99.9% of visible light. T3 appears to be painted with a similar black magic kind of material except red. Alongside the new shiny coat of paint, T3 received some much needed redesigned trains. These trains were designed by Comeback.
The one I've heard most is Kumbak,
a company that has redesigned a plethora of train designs for different types of roller coasters by different manufacturers. After seeing the new trains for Arkham Asylum at Warner Brothers Movie World, Kentucky Kingdom ordered a pair for their red monstrosity. The newer vest and suspender strap combo offers an unobstructed view and eliminates headbanging. However, the part that goes down over your lap continues to tighten throughout the course of the ride. Vekoma SLCs are highly forceful and intense rides packed with a lot of strong positive G-forces. See, I was getting to the positive part of this ride. I was getting there. With every consecutive moment of strong positive forces, your thighs start to feel more and more like depleted toothpaste tubes. This is the bad part of T3, I will not lie. It is just undeniably bad that you feel your legs pulsing on the final brakes as if they've been in those automated blood pressure machines at Walmart. But it's still funny. And then the cherry on top, for me, It's a janky roller coaster. This SLC has jerky, wild transitions. The shaping of the SLC's double barrel roll is so whippy. They are not heart-lined and they are too tight to be corkscrews. They kind of feel like a mistake, but it's great, especially now that they are no longer two of the worst moments of headbanging. I really like the intensity of the compact design of SLC layouts. Is that just me? I know a lot of people hate T3. It's kind of a crappy ride, but T3 is fun for me, and personally, it has good inversions, and it's very forceful and weird, and no matter your opinion of this ride, good or bad, we can all laugh at it together. Striking down in second place, we have Lightning Run. Kentucky Kingdom has a powerful top 2. Lightning Run is an airtime focused steel roller coaster, not unlike a mini hyper roller coaster. This was the first ever Hyper GTX roller coaster by manufacturer Chance Rides. Lightning Run was also the first new roller coaster and star attraction to debut with the newly reopened park in 2014. The impressive amount of elements crammed into one layout left riders like me asking, why aren't there more of these? Nearly 10 years later, out of the blue, a second Hyper GTX roller coaster has finally been announced, coming to the new Mattel Adventure Park in Glendale, Arizona, expected to open in 2023. With this one sporting a more traditional looping layout, you have to wonder, do manufacturers and designers name these coaster models by just throwing a dart at a board of random words? But back to Lightning Run. What a roller coaster! The 80-degree angle of the 100-foot first drop throws you more up out of your seat the further back you sit in the train. This drop feels so steep on ride that it sometimes gives the illusion of being completely vertical. This is followed by a high-speed turn into a pretty good airtime hill. After the overbank, there's another short airtime pop in between moments that are a little more meandering in pace. If a limited plot of land available shows anywhere on this ride, it's during this section. But Lightning Run wastes little time kicking it back into high gear with a dropping airtime hill under a wicked head chopper provided by the support beam overhead. More twisting airtime hills transition into a quick switchback series of turns. These turns provide a strong sensation of speed and rapidly switching lateral forces. This ride is then headlined by its 3 quick airtime hills, providing a strong finale of ejector airtime, not to unmatch a 4th pop of airtime leading up into the final breaks. These airtime hills are aggressive and I love them. Your love for these airtime hills will depend on if you're into that sort of thing, but also if the restraints aren't too constrictive for you. Lightning Run is an impressive use of limited space and budget, and it's also still the park favorite for most guests. But if you want your legs to be brutalized further, then only one attraction at Kentucky Kingdom will appease your bone-crushing desires. Speeding into number 1, it's Stormchaser. Stormchaser is delightfully aggressive. An update from the first time I reviewed this roller coaster, it has since been consistently running very fast. Twisted Twins was a very dull racing wooden roller coaster at the former Six Flags operated Kentucky Kingdom. Rocky Mountain Construction converted Twisted Twins into a single roller coaster that is anything but dull. Much like Lightning Run, Stormchaser crams an impressive amount of thrilling elements into a fairly short track length. The hang time in the front row on the barrel roll down drop is out of this world. The airtime experience up next on this airtime hill is more out of this world. Stormchaser speeds through a series of overbanks and twisting airtime hills before another lethal airtime hill and a corked roll. The corked roll is a corkscrew that designer Alan Schilke, assuming it was him, made a little bit wiggly. There's a little speed bump motion to it, and I think that's neat. Once again, we have a quick airtime series finale, but this time with a helix thrown in for good measure. Stormchaser is a fairly brutal RMC iBox steel coaster. Its short length is packed full of forceful ride elements and leaves many riders breathless. However, avid thrill seekers may be left itching to get back in line for more. Luckily they can, because Stormchaser is shoved way back into the park and seems to rarely have a wait time. I am so happy to see this great RMC roller coaster running with consistency. Stormchaser is a shining example of short but sweet and really packs a punch. And with Stormchaser topping off this list, we have arrived at the final breaks of this video. See ya!